Welcome, everyone, to Hacked in the Dark. We are a network of Forged in the Dark designers and Blades in the Dark players. Today we are playing Blades in the Dark as opposed to the hacks that we usually play. But the catch today is that all of the crew books and playbooks that we're playing are from the Unusual Suspect Jam and are third-party made. So, Justin, would you like to describe the jam?
Yeah, so the Unusual Suspects Jam took place last year, around Halloween-ish time in October, and we had over 102 entries for custom playbooks and crew books, either for Blades in the Dark or various hacks. And each of us are going to have chosen one of those playbooks, all the players have, and we'll be playing a kind of nautical-themed adventure, which I'm sure our GM today will give you a little introduction to.
Yep, exactly. So I will be GMing. My name is Jacob. We are playing the Drowners, which is the crew book that I submitted for the jam. These are all members of the O'Keel family, who are a family of divers in the Void Sea. And if you're not familiar with the Blades in the Dark lore, the Void Sea is ink black with stars dotting the bottom and filled with leviathans and terrors. So, Sam, why don't you start and introduce who you are?
Yeah. So my name is Sam. My pronouns are he, him, and I will be playing Brennan, who's a little bit like I think the youngest son. Did we decide on the order of the children? I don't think we did, but I'm imagining myself as the baby of this family, who is a little bit of like an Igor type, a little bit like very much helps around with the family business, unlike these other delinquent siblings of mine who have run off and have only recently come back home to help.
Justin, how about you?
I'm playing Nara O'Keel. I am a twin to Rauiri, who we will be introduced to in a second. But I left Duskfall on an adventure voyage about 10 years ago, and I've only just come back after hearing news of Ma's passing. I am playing the Quell playbook today, which is a Deathland scavenger. And my thought is my voyage of adventure ended up being more of a castaway kind of adventure for me that I've only just recovered from.
I should probably mention my playbook too, since that's kind of what we're
Sure.
about. So I'm playing the Stranger, which Justin designed, who is just a little bit of like an oddball weirdo. Let's see. I don't have the little thing popped up, the little short description. Justin, do you remember the little short description for?
I do, because it's literally right here on my computer. So the Stranger is they're very different. The way I actually like to pitch it outside of what I actually wrote in the playbook is that this is what if Tim Burton designed Blades in the Dark. This would be his like iconic playbook.
Yeah. So an unusual soul blessed with strange talents is what we got going. Okay. That's me. That's Nara.
All right. Why don't we go on to Francis, since we mentioned Rory?
Hi, yeah, I'm playing Rauiri, Nara's twin brother, an officer on the Leviathan fleet, out at sea almost all the time, just returned to his family as well, in their hour of need. It's the Void Chanty playbook by Eli Kurtz. It's a kind of musical mariner, a playbook I kind of designed to appeal to sea shanty TikTok.
Yep, definitely.
This was planned months ago, guys.
Yes, right.
Francis,
the playbook that started she shanty TikTok, maybe.
Yeah.
Started here.
Yeah,
Francis,
possibly.
What's your name though, Francis, and what are your pronouns?
My name is Francis Gaskin, he, him. Rauiri, also he, him.
Right. And then going up in age, Victor.
My name is Victor, he, him. I'm playing Shane, more commonly called as Pops. I'm the matriarch patriarch of the family, playing the mother playbook, which is a semi-maternal playbook for matriarch and patriarch figures. It's Small Cool Games is the itch.io page. I don't know the name of the actual designer.
Yep. That's David, who wrote Virgins, which we also had on stream a couple of months ago at this point. So yep.
Written by David. Yeah, and so I'm the father figure and supposed leader of the family, but we'll see how much I'm actually listened to in practice.
All right, and then lastly, Ian.
Yeah, I'm Ian, he, him, and I'm playing Conor O'Keel, who is the grandfather of the family. I'll be using the Old Salt playbook, which is a retired Leviathan hunter, who is sometimes a wise mentor and who can unleash hell against those who wrong you and yours. And that's a playbook I wrote for the jam.
Nice. And I forgot to mention my pronouns are he, him as well. All right. So the family has gathered together for the first time in a long time due to the terminal illness of Ma O'Keel, whose real name is Orion. The camera begins with the sound of bells. Ma has just passed, and the bells ring to announce a death. The Death Seeker crows sit on the windowsill watching. You know that soon the Spirit Wardens will come to purge the body and ensure that the spirit does not linger on as a ghost. But that is counter to your family tradition that stretches far back before the foundation of the Spirit Wardens. And you've decided to continue this tradition. Deep under the sea, there is a cavern. Many of your ancestors were buried at sea there long ago. And you've got to hurry to get there before the Spirit Wardens catch up to you first. So you are all crowded together in the one of the rooms of the Capsized Crow, a tavern that your family owns, which is in Tangletown, an area of Duskfall composed of shipwrecks mostly. The Capsized Crow is itself a capsized ship, and a makeshift bed has been set up for her. You are all gathered in this room. You can hear the sounds of the tavern behind you. You know that some of your family has prepared your ship to head out to sea, to the Void Sea, to begin this task. That's where we pick up. There are a couple hands ready to load Ma's body into your boat as soon as you're ready to take off.
I'm certainly one of those hands.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Nara is still like, is this immediately after a funeral?
This is immediately after she dies, because if the body sticks out, then the Spirit Wardens are going to want to see it.
The ceremony is scheduled for next week.
Right.
That's right. I like that. Gosh, I wonder if I would even be there then. Like, I wonder if the letter has only just left, and maybe we get a shot of me coming in, you know, from some distant port into the docks district.
She was
terminally ill for a little bit, so there was time for a later to come out.
Yeah, I would have written and said, you know, it's time to come home.
Well, it's possible that the moment that we open on is you having made it home just as she's passed, though. So you didn't get to say goodbye, but like now here you are, and like it's like grab her legs, like you're ready to go, like.
I'm just bursting in the door and seeing everyone putting her on the plinth or into the boat rather. And I there's just rain behind me, and I'm in traveling gear, and I'm just kind of like in shock looking around.
As you come in, the door pops. I look up at you. Nara, you're late.
Sorry, Father. And I quickly take off my gloves and my hat and hang them up and run over to help.
Will you accept a hug first?
It doesn't. I think it doesn't occur to me, but definitely as I approach, I'm like, "Oh, of course," and I embrace you. Probably the first hug I've gotten in years.
Probably the same, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm just I'm wrapping Ma's body in a white sheet, just preparing her for the journey, and not really acknowledging you other than the like you're late.
Well, she would have wanted this, right, and would have known she was dying, right? So she's probably like already on a stretcher. It's like the white sheet is already like what she was laying in. It's just you have to go like whip. Like we all, even she knew, right? Like this was gonna be like we got to get out as quick as possible, right? So I think you're having this like great moment, Nara and Rauiri, like, or you know, some kind of moment as you're reconvening. Yeah. Well, like. Pops, I imagine you sort of like directing me to just like fireman carry like Mom's body like down to the boat, right? Like this is a thing just for us, since like these two are like doing their catch up, but like we just gotta move on. Like
Yes, so you carry the body through the tavern, and there is silence suddenly as people see this body being carried. Many of them are relatives or are at least filled in on what's going on. So it is not shock, but it is reverence. And a couple of people are told to quiet down as you pass through. Already you can see lights coming down the road. The Spirit Wardens are soon upon you.
Come on, let's get her in the boat. Rauiri, grab an oar.
So
Rauiri is dressed in like a very like sharp officer's uniform, like brass buttons, very like crisp. But yeah, he will take an oar. Kind of maybe like scowls at his father, but does what he asks.
Was Conor just waiting in the boat ahead of time, like ready to set off or something?
You can hurry down there faster than those of us carrying the body at any rate, right?
True. Yeah, I think I was probably like keeping watch up on the higher floor, and then I'm just gonna come down while everybody else is carrying the body.
I see.
Time to go.
So,
is this a place that we need to take our bathysphere to get to, like underwater, or do we just sort of sail out there in a rowboat?
I think either. I think if you want to make sure, like if you want to get there with air and like in a protected sphere, you can take the bathysphere. Otherwise, you can just swim out or row out.
I like the idea that it's trailing behind us.
Yeah.
So people can get the full picture in their head of like what we're gonna be doing for the next few weeks.
Yes. So for the audience, one of the upgrades that the crew decided to start with is a vehicle, a bathysphere, which is tethered to a small barge that it drags it behind. Bathysphere, for those who don't know, is a unpowered submarine, basically, that's fed air from the boat and tethered to the boat.
I like that implies we have like some crude Leviathan oil engine on this boat to feed air down.
One other note for the audience, I meant to mention back at the beginning, the crew opted not to take the upgrade that allows them to breathe underwater. So if risk of drowning and being underwater is something that you would rather not see, this might not be the actual play for you, unfortunately. All right, so you load the body up onto the boat and hear the squawking of crows and hurried footsteps. And turning a corner, you see a group of people in familiar Spirit Warden masks rushing towards you about 50 feet away. One of them shouts, "Stop right there."
Are we just going to leave?
Are we on the boat already? And like they're on the docks?
Yeah,
or...
I think
Okay.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting onto the boat. You're loading the body onto the boat as they're running up.
I'm gonna stop and ask what seems to be the trouble, officer, and like go up and really try to make this like a whole like please talk to me while the ship kind of sails away behind us.
Uh-huh. So I don't know if they would know what you're planning, but the crows would at least point them to the fact that you have a body and are trying to smuggle it away.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Can I try and confuse the crows?
Sure.
So I think Rory's engagement with the ghost field in Dosfall is very like oral, very like sound based. So I think maybe he would want to whistle a tune, which is intended to point the crows in the wrong direction, make them hover around, just like a pile of trash, thinking that's the dead body.
Okay.
So I'd like to roll a tune to do that if that works.
Sure.
Can I?
It stands up in the. Please.
No, I was gonna say like maybe me trying to like distract the officers just with like being in their way can be an assist on that roll to just sort of buy you the moment to.
Yeah.
Nice, thanks. Yeah, so Rory stands up in the back of the boat by the pump and like whistles like a piercing, eerie, demonic sounding melody. I'm going to make my first roll. What's the position and effect?
Yeah, so if you are new to Blades in the Dark, real quick, the dice roll is based on the action score of the player, and then the GM says what the position and effect is, and then we can modify it like assisting, like Sam is doing. So the position is I think risky, standard.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
With one bonus dice for the assist.
Nice.
Okay, so a 6 is a success. Also, if you're new to Blades, we look at the highest number. 6 is a success, 4, 5 is a mixed success or partial success, 1, 2, 3 is a failure. So the crows begin flapping around animatedly away from you towards like you said, like a pile of trash in the corner or something. And the Spirit Warden who was accosted stammers for a minute and then just shoves past Brennan towards that pile.
I'm used to that.
Yeah. As the boat begins taking off.
I'll reach my arm out to pull Brennan on board.
Yeah.
Wow, depriving me of my opportunity to use my special ability later. Wow. Yeah, that's fair though.
Oh, sure, yeah. They're only distracted for a moment, just long enough for you to get away. When they start tearing the pile of garbage apart and realize the trickery, they immediately rush over to another boat to try to catch up to you.
And the crows come after us as well, right? The crows are like now trailing us.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's gonna
Yeah.
flash back to poke a hole in the bottom of whatever boat they get on?
I'll take this moment where we're not being chased to just say to Pa, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And I'll shove off the docks and we'll head out.
Okay.
If only someone had the advance, you always know when you're lying. Maybe for next time.
That would be great there. Does someone actually want to flash back to do something with the boat, or was that just a suggestion?
Oh, to have sabotaged the boat?
Sabotage the other boat. Yeah.
I want to flash back not to sabotage the boat, but to consort with my friends who are the owners of some of the other boats in the dock, and so that they know what's happening and are gonna either push off at the right time or otherwise slow down the Spirit Wardens. So
Okay.
kind of flash back to the day before where we're in our tavern and Pops is saying, it's gonna be any minute now. Boys, we'll need your help with the Wardens when the time's right. You know what to do.
And, like, everyone in the bar is like hat in hand and like has known this is coming, right? And it's a very solemn occasion, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So to consort with your comrades in a flashback sounds like a controlled standard roll.
Okay. And how many stress for the flashback?
I think 1 stress.
1 stress. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, one of them puts his hand on your shoulder and says, we all have the greatest faith in you. But this is something you have to do.
All right.
And so we cut back to the prison, and you are conspicuously alone on this boat. This boat is conspicuously alone.
I think I'm mumbling under my breath about like some friends not worth having.
Now, as a controlled roll, you can approach it in a different way. You can respond to their saying it's up to you with a different.
Oh, yeah, actually, I would like to try it again as a command and basically be like, damn it all. I need in this moment, I need you. My family needs you. My wife, my dying wife needs you.
Okay. So that's going to be a risky standard roll.
Awesome.
Nice. Okay.
Much better.
Yeah, they're shaken and give in and say, then we'll be there if you need us. I just hope she is contented with that. You know which she that they are talking about. And so we see your boat alone, and then we see a couple of others quickly trying to catch up. The Spirit Wardens have taken off on this boat, on their own boat, and are being harried by a couple of others, giving you a bit of time to move forward. So I'm going to make a clock of how far you are from the cavern. So we're going to call it cavern.
How big's the clock? Because the people at home aren't going to be able to see the clocks, unfortunately.
Yeah, I will read off how you're doing on them. I think it is a 6 clock, and with a standard success, that's 2 ticks. So for the cast, I just put it in the middle of our family tree there.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 out of 6 distance to this cavern, and you have a bit of a lead on the the Spirit Wardens. So if you can get to the cavern before they get to you, then you'll be able to lose them as you go underwater.
I don't remember them giving this much chase when we buried Graham.
Things have changed in the city.
Hmm.
Gotten
No
stricter.
respect for traditions anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Seems not. Well, I'm still a good hand at the tiller. If you'd like to let me try.
And Pops just like steps to the side and like motions with one hand to take the tiller.
I would like to try and use the cover that we have from the other boats to, and also the fact that we're in Tangletown, where there's like just so many boats everywhere, to kind of lose them. So
Okay.
I'm going to argue for prowl.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. So that sounds like another risky standard roll.
Okay. And I'm willing to push myself here because I want to impress my family
Sure.
for an extra die.
So I think either way, you're going to end up clear of Tangletown.
Mm-hmm.
But whether you attract additional attention doing so will be determined by the roll.
All right. And then in the absence of any aid, which I think is fine given the circumstances,
Well, I think this is a fine point for Connor to assist. So I'm going to use my sailing experience to just sort of quietly support in the background, shift the rigging as needed.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Pulling up the map so I remember where you are and how far you are from the open waters. Okay. There we go.
All right, there we are.
All right.
5.
So another standard roll gets you 2 additional ticks. You are 4 out of 6. You are now in open water, but the crows have not been left behind.
Right.
And even though you've outpaced and gotten lost from the boat immediately behind you, there are still crows calling to your current location. And you can see a couple other lamps rushing along the side of the water, I guess, the water's edge, as some new Spirit Wardens are trying to find a boat to get to you quickly. Yeah, we'll say that they, like, a couple others have hopped on a boat and are now after you as well. But now you're in open water and close. Any last assistance to get the last bit free?
I kind of have a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
What if part of us losing them will be, and also just not having the Spirit Wardens after us afterwards, is that we're not gonna bury Ma in the city limits. We're gonna go through the lightning barrier. So technically, we'll have skirted the law.
Sure.
Technically didn't break the law. Sure. Yeah.
So is there a fitting action for that? I could do some sort of tinkering if we need to rig up our own little Faraday cage or something, or
I was going to
could be a
suggest a
group-
tuning for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it could even be a group attune roll.
yeah, that would make sense.
Sure.
Hey, I've got a question here. I've got this special ability, Ghastly, which says, "Alas, you have no soul." On the upside, your sorry state renders you completely invisible to most supernatural entities, spells, and wards. Does that include the lightning barriers?
Yes, I think so.
I guess it's a supernatural word.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
All right. So
Yeah.
I will deign to help the rest of you, to protect the rest of you from the dreaded lightning barriers.
Do we know what happened to your soul?
I just lost it somewhere along the way. I misplaced it.
Gambling.
Never quite found it. It's probably in between the couch cushions somewhere.
Well,
That
definitely.
is certainly what I tell you, at least.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, but I feel like just an attune roll to protect a whole boat from the lightning barriers doesn't feel quite right. Like I imagine that I would have like previously, maybe this is even a flashback, like set up wards all around the side of the ship to help protect it from the barrier.
Yeah, that makes sense as a flashback, sure.
I feel like I'm the kind of guy who, I mean, like, you know, my obligation, my vice is taking care of my newt collection, which I do very meticulously every evening at very set hours that should not be disturbed. And I imagine I have similar routines for taking care of the boat and the bathysphere and even the bar after closing time. So, yeah, how many stress for the flashback?
I think that's going to be 2 stress for that.
Sure.
It's a lot of preparation.
And then position and effect.
So I think it's going to be desperate, because if you mess up, everyone's getting shocked.
Yeah, it checks out.
Do you have... How do you know what kinds of runes and wards are necessary to protect you from lightning barrier?
Oh, I mean, I feel like this is really what I have devoted my life to doing. Like we, you know, our family has all of these ancient traditions going back about diving down and collecting things and scavenging from the bottom of the sea. And part of that is, you know, the songs of our tradition that Rauiri has kept up, I imagine. But part of that also is just like, you know, Pops and Conor and Mom all taught me like how to do these things to take care of our diving gear, both practically, you know, cleaning them out, and supernaturally, like, you know, it's all part of the same tradition and the same process of upkeep.
Okay. So I think we have a flashback of really the whole multiple members of the family. Certainly, at least an older flashback with Rauiri learning some of the songs, and then a more recent flashback perhaps with Conor preparing some like scripture charms and such.
Actually, I have a suggestion here. I think it would be nice to sort of see the like moment where I learned how to do this from Mom, actually. I was gonna ask whether it was Pops or Conor that like taught me, but I think Mom is more interesting.
Yeah, sure.
Where, you know, I think Brennan was, I think Nara and Rauiri, was it clear from a young age that you two were not going to be the people that kept up the family as much, or did that sort of happen as adults?
In your flashback, I want me to be arguing with Pops in the background.
Yeah. I don't want to do diving. I want to go out and see the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I really took to this stuff like instantly, right? And so this was like Mom and Brennan like bonding time of her teaching me how to make these runes.
Nice. Okay. That's really cool. I like that. So yeah, I think that's going to be a desperate great roll.
Oh, great. All right.
Yeah.
So currently I have 2 in attune, so I have 2 dice here. I could push myself, but would anyone be helping me with this?
Yeah, I think I could. I was going to do a setup action, but maybe it's just more of an assist, in that I can also, you know, double check your work. Probably without you knowing, like, 'cause I know
totally.
you've got your routine, and then after you're done and you go to bed, then I come creeping out, and I'm like, okay, but now let me make sure he actually did it right.
Yeah. Well, I like the dynamic there where like I stay up ridiculously late doing it, and then you get up ridiculously early, and like your like morning routine is like double checking all my work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yep. Perfect.
Cool.
Okay.
So I got 1 assist die from you, and this is important. I'm gonna, you know what? This is actually really interesting if we fail. So I'm only gonna take the 1 bonus die. Let's see how this goes. I got the 6.
Okay. Nice.
Oh,
was
I
real
skipped the
close.
devil's bargain. I really should have gone for the devil's bargain. What if
Oh
we
yeah.
crit?
Right.
It's okay.
All right. So.
So if not for the bonus die, that would have been a failure. So I'm gonna say in the flashback, I was definitely like, oh, that's not right. Let me fix that.
Yeah. Definitely. So, yeah, so all of you know that these wards have been set up and your boat should be protected from lightning barrier, and you'll all grit your teeth and wait for the lightning to strike you, and then
I definitely I try to make sure Pops and Connor stay like further back on the boat from Rauiri and Nara, so that if there is a problem, Rauiri and Nara will get hit first, and like maybe Pops and Connor can get overboard.
I see. This is the kind of sibling rivalry.
I listen. They abandoned me to take care of the family all by myself. I'll never forgive them for it.
It's fair.
All right.
And so Connor's gonna grit his teeth because he's got a his fine assistive device is basically like a sparkwork cochlear implant, and so
Okay.
whenever he gets too near electrical or ghosts or whatever, it starts fuzzing up.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's just
Nice. Yep. And so the lightning arcs around your boat, and as you pass through it, closes back behind you. And the boat trailing you stops abruptly, not wanting to get shocked itself. So you're now in the open sea. You are now above the cavern after a small bit of... we say it was powered, right? So it's not rowing, but...
What's the weather like out at sea today? I'm going to use my fine weather eye to take a look at the horizon.
Yeah, so I think there is an ominous storm brewing. And you suspect that if you don't hurry, the storm might come upon you on your way back or out while you were underwater.
I imagine, and I know something about storms out here, which is that they're not just storms.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the storm is not something you want to be caught up in if you can avoid it. So you on your boat, you already had your rigging set up, so you are all prepared. Did you decide if you're going to use the bathysphere or not?
I mean,
Yeah.
I think we want to.
we gotta use the
Oh, yeah.
bathysphere, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
Why bring our toys if we're not going to use them?
Yeah. Okay. So, it is floating in the water. I think before we went live, last time we talked, you had talked about whether it was really a bathysphere or more like a diving bell.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's definitely got some kind of moon door.
Yeah. The detail I wanted to bring up was that that puts it in a more risky position than a completely closed vehicle. So I just want you to be aware of that.
Right.
Oh no.
Right. So,
Who do we see suiting up?
Yeah, that's a good
Who
question.
do we
Do
see
you all
suiting
think
up to go on the dive?
Pops is definitely suiting up
Mhm.
to go down. I mean, it's my wife that we're burying at sea.
as much as this
I know
is...
this.
Please.
I was gonna say, I know the song to summon the demon, so I should probably go.
Mhm.
Which mother taught to me.
Nice.
As much as I want another chance to use my special ability, I 100% will be going. Like, Mom was the most important person in this family to me, and I would not miss this for anything.
I think that I will stay behind with Gramps to watch the boat and to help you all up whenever it's done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Connor is definitely going to stay behind to double check all the equipment, make sure everything is functioning correctly, and to not be there for this.
Sure.
Pops,
But he doesn't say that part.
Pops has no dots in Tinker, so the grandfather and Brennan are definitely the mechanical genius behind this outfit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a similar to what your family has used before, but significantly improved with Sparkcraft, more recent Sparkcraft that is kind of beyond your understanding.
Yeah, exactly.
So the three of you suit up, load the body into the bathysphere.
What do our suits look like? What's the...
Yeah, so imagine like the old-fashioned big diving helmets with a tube that goes back up to the boat where it feeds you oxygen.
Perfect.
Though it would feed, I believe we said, to the bathysphere as like a midpoint to get more mobility.
Did you ever read the Tintin comic books?
Mm.
There's one where they're diving for buried treasure, and Tintin's wearing an amazing old-fashioned diving suit.
You should put a link to that in chat.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Perfect. I found it.
Nice.
Jacob, what? Maybe anyone. This is a question for. What are we expecting to find when we get down there? Like we've probably done this before, right?
Definitely.
Like this isn't the first family death. At the very least, grandma died at some point, right? But like, what's down there?
Yeah. So everyone knows that the Void Sea is full of terrors. The largest and scariest and most deadly are the Leviathans. Rauiri has encountered a number in his travels, and some of you may have in the past as well, though perhaps more distantly. There are also other types of more mundane sea terrors, giant squids and sharks and such.
And ghosts.
And of course, whenever a boat sinks at sea, which happens fairly frequently considering the Leviathan hunters, those bodies don't have the benefit of the Spirit Wardens to free their ghosts, and the ghosts roam the depths, and sometimes so do the bodies. So who knows what's changed since you've last been here? The currents bring all kinds of things in and out. So you're ready, I assume, for a struggle, just in case.
Do we want to set load at that point?
Let's say, yeah, we didn't discuss what the load was when we began. So what does everyone want to bring?
This feels like a heavy load situation to me.
I'm going to go standard. I don't want to be trapped underwater with too much stuff.
That's what I was thinking.
You don't swim for your life while you're wearing plate armor.
Okay. And then
Trust
in the boat,
gear.
In the boat, what are your loads as well?
A heavy load.
Heavy?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to say a light load because I was probably just traveling and I left all my suitcases back at home.
Sure. Okay. All right. So your vehicle descends.
Can I just take a quick moment with Nara before we like head out?
Oh yeah, sure.
Before I like close my, I just want to ask like.
Yeah, it takes a while.
I kind of wasn't expecting to see you. Why did you come back?
I was in parts unknown. It took longer than. Well, let's just say it's good that the letter even reached me.
But why did you come? I thought you were done.
I'm not done with my family. I'm just
But it seems-
diving, I thought.
That's how it seemed.
I know. You have a change of heart when you're away for that long. Maybe you felt the same.
Maybe we'll see if it changed. We'll see. And I'll close my my face hatch. Head down.
There's a shot of like the boat's not big, right? So Pops was around on the other side of the boat, but there's just a shot of like Pops listening to that entire conversation and just like taking it in.
Nice. So
Yeah, and Rory's feelings would be very relatable to you because I was a Leviathan hunter through your whole childhood, so you barely saw me. Always just going off to sea and barely coming home.
And so the body is loaded and the bathysphere sinks. And the sea is ink black, and the stars above begin to fade as the stars below begin to grow brighter. You see shifting movements in the darkness, and luckily you have small waterproof sparkcraft lanterns. And as you point them out the windows or out the hole in the bottom, those figures seem to flit away out of the light. As the seafloor begins to approach and you can see it dimly through the obscured light, you stop lowering and are ready to exit. Now, of course, the exact position of the cavern has got to be around here somewhere, but you may need a short walk from where you are.
I think Pops like pulls the string connected to a bell on deck, like pulls it once for stop lowering, right? And then you up on the ship through the speaking tube, very faintly through the speaking tube, you hear, we're about to go out, look for the cave.
Good luck.
Yeah. I think I head out first, just drop kind of down feet first through the moon door, and landing with bent knees on the seafloor. I just want to look around, get my bearings. I've been here before, but it's been a while. See if I can recognize any landmarks, figure out what direction to go, and make a survey roll if needed.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a survey roll. So this will be how. So you look around and you're able to recognize it roughly. This is almost more of your memory of last time. You know that some places here have better footing than others. So this is you finding the path the safest way.
Sure.
So I think that's a risky standard roll.
Any help from the family members who came down with me? Or should I just go for it with my 2 dice?
So the thing that Brennan is really concerned with here is taking proper care of Ma's body,
Okay.
which I imagine is, presumably we've prepared for this too. Like we're not just like floating her like raw body out there, right? Like on the sail out here, we like prepped it in waterproof oil or like tied off the blanket better and like put some resin on it maybe.
Like a waxed canvas.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so I don't know if you deserve a die for me just sort of getting her out of your hair, but I like if we're happy with that as an assist, like I'm happy to spend the 1 stress to do that.
I will help out.
There we go.
As
Okay.
up on the boat, I'm gonna mark a piece of load. I think. Let's see, torches or what have you on here. You know what? I like that arcane. Yeah, I'll mark a lantern as we see me popping off of a flare, and I toss it into the water, and it comes floating down to give you all a better view of the seafloor and the surrounding area.
Nice.
Okay. Okay. So you recognize the area, you look around and you see a collection of coral that rises up and over like a gallows, and the seaweed swaying on it like a body. You know that it was just past there, and this flare comes down, illuminating everything in stark contrast until it is suddenly snuffed out.
Snuffed out like it went out, or snuffed out like put it out?
Like something put it out.
Cool.
So you know the path, but you have attracted the attention of something.
Awesome.
I think I have a tech issue quickly, folks. The stream still appears to be live, but some faces are frozen, so just know I'm addressing that, everyone.
Okay. All right. Well, we're reaching our first break anyway, so why don't we take that now? Figure out the tech while we're out. So we'll be take a 5-10 minute break. We'll be back shortly. We're planning on taking the break every hour and going for 3 hours. So thank you all for joining us, and we will see you soon.